Welcome along, everybody, to my watch along for practice 2 for the 2025 Formula 1 Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. We are about to get on into it, the second practice session of the day. FP1 was quite interesting, to be honest. FP1 was quite interesting. McLaren were obviously at the top, but it was really tight. It seems like the upgrades are working for a few teams, and obviously Colapinto made his debut in Alpine. But let's get on into the session. Let me get the broadcast up real quick. But yeah, if it's your first time tuning in, welcome. This is how we do a watch along. You got my face here, you got the live timings here, you got the session timer down in the bottom left that should not be on right now. And you got lovely Twitch chat to type in. So if you're over on the TikTok right now or you're over on YouTube, come over to the Twitch stream, join us. We are live all the time on Twitch, and then we go occasionally live on TikTok and YouTube depending on what we are doing. Anyways, let me get the predictions up for FP2. I completely forgot to do them again. Who will finish first in practice 2? All right. Timer is up. Sorry, not timer up. Channel points are up. Predictions are up. Sorry if you guys get your channel points on. So get them on in. Excuse me. We're live on YouTube as well. Let me get the chat up. Oh, fuck's sakes. Oh my god. Definitely, bro. Sup, Erasmo? I'm the stream dead. I'm doing well. How are you? I love Davide, but he's so energetic. Alright, predictions are up. Get channel points in. Who will finish first in practice 2, guys? Alright, let's get the timer up as well. 59. Alright, timer's up. Sync on up. Erasmo, thank you so much for the follow, dude. Appreciate you coming over to the Twitch stream. Thank you. Okay, what I missed in chat while we were chatting about stuff in Discord. There's a 50% chance you already wore Adidas. Yeah, true. Clout merchants. That said, why is there no 2000 style groove tires for conditions in between slicks and inters? I guess maybe that's what they're trying to go for with the new inters, but they need a new wet tire. That's what they need. They need a new fucking wet tire, bro. I think it's the opposite. If it was shallow, it can hold less water, therefore making the wet usable. Right, okay, yeah, fair. Isn't it forbidden to film some without their consent? I'm not really sure how it works. It's kind of like, if you're, yeah. I mean, they can sue you, but like, is someone really going to sue you over that shit? I don't know. It's kind of frowned upon, put it that way. That's the selfie you keep for life. Tell the grandkids about how you went to school with a famous F1 driver. Yeah, true. Make one of those TikToks like, look who's in my yearbook. They're in the kitchen though, so that joke kind of read itself. What does that mean? I feel like he was trying, with that tweet, he was trying to be like serious in a way of like, they get an F1 Academy driver, but then they put her in the kitchen. But it's like, you're the one who came up with that idea. You know what I mean? Like, you're the one who thought of that, you know? Like, I don't think Sauber thought, yes, F1 Academy driver, let's chuck her in the kitchen, lol. Like, you're sexist or like, you know what I mean? You're the one who thought of that. It's like when someone says something normal and then someone goes, you're racist for saying that. And it's like, but you're the one who made that racist. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't get it. People are weird, man. Women in kitchen jokes in 2025. Like, are we for real? Oh my God. How much almost lost the car there? Most of the new fans are probably unaware of the team's previous guys as Minardi. Yeah, but the person making the graphic should know their stuff. Who to put on the graphic. When's Fry gonna pattern up, man? Pattern up? You mean get good? If Kimmy wanted to, he could sue, but it's silly. Yeah, exactly. To be honest, when I watched the vid, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, exactly. It was the same. I was surprised that Bogdanovic got pole. Literally did that lap at the perfect time before the red flag. Yeah, it was stupid. You're telling me 6.5 minutes isn't enough time for them to do their lap. Sorry, was too much time to do their laps in F2. Like, ugh. At least just be like, hey guys, 1 lap each or something. They don't have to use the full 6 minutes, but let them go out and do a lap. 6 minutes is a ridiculous amount of time to leave on the clock. What position was Max in? Max was in P6 or 7, I think, in FP1. What are you yapping about? Oh, we were yapping about a video that we were watching before we got into the watch along. Tell them to bring out the Red Bull. Also, how was FP1? Anything happen? Yeah, so to update people, for anyone who missed FP1, if you weren't able to watch, McLaren was at the top of the session, at the top, as you'd expect. But we also had Lewis, a Mercedes, and a Williams, I think, all within 50 milliseconds of each other. It was really tight. The top 5 were really, really tight. And then, yeah, obviously Franco made his debut for Alpine. Bortoletto crashed in the last 2 minutes of practice. Yeah, just a bit of like a lazy crash. Car kind of snapped, went into the wall. Wasn't anything too crazy, but I'm sure he will lose a little bit of confidence now in that corner. But Sauber looking good with the upgrades. Williams looked best of the rest. V-Carb was struggling. Yeah, that was about it, really. Yeah, the Williams look really, really good. How was Aston in the upgrade? It was hard to tell. They were kind of in the mid pack, but sometimes that can just happen in practice for for Aston when the other teams are all shit in the bed. What's up, Ashutosh? It's getting hot in my room, fam. It is going hot in my room. Colapinto did look good. He was down on Gasly, wasn't he? I can't remember now. I don't think he had a great session, but it's his first session. To be honest, no one was really talking about him. Actually, let me actually go look at what Colapinto did. I'm curious now. I don't even know why I didn't even care. I guess for me, I'm just like, it's FP1, who cares? But he was 17th. So he was ahead of Behrman, Hadron, Ocon, but he was 7/10 off of Gasly. But then again, who knows? Maybe he didn't get a quick run in. Who knows what runs he was on. One with Yuki and Franco. A lot of Franco fans are spamming Yuki's Insta. Wait, what? Are we serious? Wait, are we saying, did Yuki probably like accidentally block Franco and now... What the fuck? That's crazy. Franco fans need to fucking chill out, bro. Yeah, stay on board, man. Oh, this camera is so good. Oh my god, yeah, this wider cam is so much better. You really feel the sense of the cars. The only thing about the big fan bases from other countries is that kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. Like, don't be wrong. Like, I get you're passionate, and I get that's normal for those countries, but it shouldn't be normal. It's ridiculous. What's your opinion on the upgrades? Do you think the teams could just focus on next reg, or should they continue to invest in this year? You got to try to find a balance. You got to keep upgrading this year, otherwise you will fall behind because other teams are going to bring upgrades. But at the same time, it's the end of the regs. You need to start focusing on next year. You know, if you're not going to be able to fight for the championship, then why waste any time on this year? So if you don't, if you don't care about the money, this is what's weird about this year is like, oh my God, Alonso completely blocked. Who is that? Okay, now that is a block. Colapinto just sitting on the apex. What are you doing? That's a valid block. That's a valid mold from blocking there. Yeah, you got to try find the balance. But that's what's annoying about this year is like, if you're Sauber, Haas, Alpine, VCARB, why even bother trying this year? Because you're not going to win the championship. And then, you know, at what point are Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari going to be like, fuck it, we're too far down on McLaren and just give up? You know what I mean? But then again, they've got budget this year to work with. They can't spend too much next year, so I don't know. It's gonna be hard to find. It's gonna be interesting to see where the line is. Disqualify Franco for that. Oh my god, imagine. Yeah, Williams looking really good at the moment. Have Williams brought upgrades? Wow, signed up to the top. Albon's gonna go even higher, I think. Jose, name of the volley, dude. If they fire Colapinto, it's going to trigger World War IV. As an Argentinian F1 fan, people need to chill out. Yeah, just, you know, you can be passionate but like, yeah, death threats and like commenting on other people's shit, it's just so dumb. It's like, it's the point where it's like, are you serious? Are you trolling? And Albon goes P2. Wow. Purple sector 1, but why Williams look so good this weekend? Imagine Williams could fight. Imagine if Williams could actually fight for pole this weekend because of how tight the track is. Sainz finally doing well. Wait, that's the second comment I've seen in chat about Sainz finally doing well. But are we forgetting that he? Are we forgetting that he popped off in the last two races, the last two weekends? I mean, obviously last week he had damage, but he popped off in quali. Well, could be better this year, mate. The death threats is just a diabolical to do. That's not what a fan should do. Criticize definitely, but not over the limit. Yeah. I think this race could be quite similar to Japan. Not a lot of overtakes where quality is important. Yeah. I think the undercut will be strong here as well. Sainz wasn't great last week. Albon done much better. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Sainz out qualified Albon. But then he got fucked over in the race with the damage. No further investigation for Colapinto. Well, that's a fucking joke. How do you block someone that much and get no further investigation? Yeah, Martin Brundle got 9'd last week. Wait, so does he become a Sir? Because I know there's like OBEs and there's like different kind of like stuff. I don't really understand it all, to be honest. OBE, not NIO. So what's the difference? And what's an OBE mean? In my opinion, all death threats and uncontrollable fans because of Netflix and young girls, just boys being immature. I disagree. Well, Netflixing I think is not accurate because death threats and very passionate over the top fans has existed in all sports. Like I come from Counter-Strike, and in Counter-Strike the Brazilian fans are next level. And the Russian fans who bet on games are next level. You know, death threats to players and like over the top social media posts about players because they lost a match or, you know, made them lose money because of betting and stuff like that. You know, you see football crowds at some matches. You see some crowds at football matches and they're way over the top, you know, like fighting each other, throwing stuff at each other. And it's no difference with the Argentinian fans at the moment in Formula One with the abuse and the stuff to try back their driver of Colapinto. It has nothing to do with Netflix. It's just to do with, I think what it is I think where you and other people might think this is a Netflix thing, it's the timing of the Netflix show where Drive to Survive dropped and it blew up the sport, right? But the thing that comes with a sport blowing up is more idiots, right? That goes for anything. That could be a movie. Let's say a movie blows up, or an artist, a singer blows up, or whatever. Anything that blows up means more percentage of idiots, right? If there's 100 people, right? Let's say 100 people are a fan of a music artist, and 1% of them are idiots. That's one person. No one gives a fuck. But if there's 100 million people watching a sport, or let's say, yeah, 100 million people watching a sport, and 1% of them are idiots, that's a million idiots. So yeah, Formula 1's exploded, which means there's just more idiots fucking around the sport now. But it's not because of Drive to Survive. Drive to Survive is just the reason that the show exploded. And it's just the way online world works, right? Back in the day, you know, if you're a fan of something, you'd talk to your friends about it, you'd read news articles about it, you know what I mean? Now, every single person in the world has an opinion, whether it's a comment on someone's post, a tweet on Twitter, they make their own TikTok, they can make their own YouTube video. And that 1%, sometimes more, because people are just idiots, are very loud, they're very vocal, you see their shit. The social media runs from clicks. So if someone has a shit opinion, that gets comments, and then all of a sudden all you're seeing is just dog shit on your timeline. Like, for instance, I'm going to give an example. Someone made a TikTok last week, and or 2 weeks ago at the last Grand Prix, and it was a photo of Oscar Piastri, and it was like, of course Lando can only get P2 because Oscar Piastri's in a rocket ship or something, right? And obviously the TikTok gets a few likes because, again, the idiots like it, and the person making the post is an idiot. But then someone screenshots that and puts that on Twitter, and then that does the rounds on Twitter, and then everyone's talking about this idiot. But it's like, no one would have seen that fucking post if it wasn't for someone reposting on Twitter. And then people start being like, oh my god, all Oscar Piastri all Lando Norris fans are dumb. And it's like, just because one fucking idiot made a TikTok and a couple other idiots liked it, doesn't mean the whole fucking Lando Norris fan base are idiots. I just hate when people use one example as the whole, like, fan base, you know what I mean? Or the whole, like, yeah. What is Counter-Strike? Counter-Strike is a video game. CSGO, Counter-Strike. I played it for, like, many, many years. Played it competitively. It was kind of like my life for a while. So I always talk about Counter-Strike or reference Counter-Strike a lot because that's kind of what I can relate to when it comes to, like, sports or fan bases or whatever, because that's what I watched growing up. The irony is that the people calling them dumb are the absolute lowest of lows. Wait, the irony is that people calling them dumb are the absolute lowest of lows. Wait, you're saying people saying the dumb people are dumb. How's it going there, Matho? Welcome to the stream. South American countries are mad with these kind of things. Yeah, they're just very, very passionate, but I don't know. They just don't know where the line is. I don't know if it's like a language barrier or I don't know. I still count Blake as a Drive to Survive fan because Drive to Survive is what brought you to Formula 1. But that's the thing. It depends what context you use it in. Am I a Drive to Survive fan? Yeah, I'm a fan of the show. And I came from the show. But saying I'm a fan of Formula 1 because of Drive to Survive, that's just not true. I don't watch Formula 1 because of Drive to Survive anymore. I watch Formula 1 because I love the sport. And definitely calling me a Drive to Survive fan is not accurate when it's my 7th season. So, I don't know. I think the definition Drive to Survive fan is so inaccurate nowadays because some people watch Drive to Survive and got them into the sport, but they don't care about Drive to Survive anymore. Some people like the show, but it's not what makes them keep watching the sport. Some people get into the sport and have been watching the sport because of Drive to Survive. So technically, they're a Drive to Survive fan. Some people genuinely only watch the fucking show and not the sport. So, well. Yo! Nizam! I don't know why the alert isn't working properly, but thank you, dude. Appreciate the 5 gifted subs, man. Thank you. I am pronouncing your name right. Correct, yeah? Nizam? I feel like that's the best way to pronounce it, but thank you, man. Thank you for the 5 bomb. Guys, W's in chat for Nizam. If you got a sub from him, give him a thank you. Yo, Red Eye got one. Let's go. But Dazon, thank you so much for the firebomb, dude. Appreciate it. Just in time before the ads come through. Thank you, man. Thank you. What else? What I miss in chat? But thank you, dude. Really do appreciate you supporting the stream, man. Facts. I'm Brazilian, and when I was watching CS stuff, they're crazy. Yeah, the SK gaming era was crazy. Now you got the Furia era. And OB is a reward for services and a useful activity. Right, okay. In South America, fans are very passionate about sports and etc. So death threats from them is not surprising. I know this is because I'm Brazilian. And for example, the Brazilian football team's fans are crazy. Yeah, I can imagine. I think they did a good idea to make the line more wider and close to the gravel traps for this week. Yeah, I like that. There's no point in having gravel there if the car can just go off track and get an invalid. Russell up to the top on the sauce right now. We'll see. Obviously, this would be representative of the qualifying times tomorrow, so we'll see a lot of qualifying laps coming through. That was up to. G'day, but yeah, thinking that a whole fan base is stupid based on one person's comments are just over the top. Being an Aussie, we seem to cop a fair bit of it. Oh, okay, that's what you meant. Yeah, no, I completely agree. Like, don't get me wrong. This is the thing, though, right? People will be like, Lewis fans are the worst. Lando fans are the worst. Max fans are the worst. The thing is, yes, the worst of the worst fans of each driver, there are like you could say the worst of the worst Colapinto fans are worse than the worst of the worst Lewis fans, and the worst of the worst Lewis fans are worse than the Leclerc worst fans. At the end of the day, every single driver, even fucking Lance Stroll, is gonna have at least one fucking idiot who's dumb and has dumb opinions and is biased and is like, you know, like a full-on hater of the other drivers and does abuse and stuff like that. At the end of the day, no one's worse than the other. It's just the bigger drivers are going to have more fans, which again means more idiots. I don't know. At the end of the day, if you stayed off Twitter, you wouldn't know, other than the being at the track, whether it's the booing or the this, that, and the other. But yeah. It's just the fact you got to be online and you see that shit, and then like obviously my being in Twitch chat, you see it in Twitch chat, and then I see it in Discord, and then I see it in Twitter, and then I see it in TikTok. You can't escape it at the end of the day. I think the thing that annoys me the most, and this is obviously coming from a Red Bull Max fan, the thing that annoys me the most is like, I don't care for other people's opinions online, right? Like, okay, I want to hear someone's opinion about F1. I will go listen to Tomo, or I'll have a listen to what Matt and Tommy have to say, or I'll listen to what the pundits have to say, right? I could not care less what someone random on Twitter says, right? And, you know, I'm sure that's the same case for people towards me and other content creators. It's like, I don't care what a fucking YouTuber has to say or a streamer has to say. I'm just going to listen to what the pundits have to say. So I don't care what fucking old mate Joe Blow on fucking Twitter says about anything. I don't care. The problem is when I am saying my opinion, whether it's on my stream or on YouTube or on TikTok or on Twitter or wherever, and people then comment on my stuff and say like, how can you even like Max? He's this. Or how can you like Christian? He's that. Or how can you like Red Bull? Or how can you be a fan of this? How can you be a fan of that? Max's lap wasn't even that good. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, shut up. Shut up. I didn't ask. And it's just like, let me enjoy what I want. You enjoy what you want. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just like, yeah. I can't imagine commenting on someone's thing. Being like, like, there's definitely times where people are wrong, like they're factually wrong. But like, I could go on Twitter and be like, wow, that was my favorite race. And people be like, how could that be your favorite race? Did you not watch Canada 2010? No, I fucking didn't. That's why I said that was my favorite race. And it's just like, that's what I think makes social media, whether for whatever you're a fan of, sports, movies, whatever, the worst. Is your opinion can be wrong. It's just like, bruh. People just entertain you people just entertain you, see someone being dumb as hell. I just don't entertain it. Yeah, exactly. Good evening. What's up, Nathan? Good to see you, dude. Bro, I'm Canadian. I didn't watch Canada 2010. I can't believe Tom P1 from P1 is 36 and already 20 years in marriage. Was it 20? I thought it was 10 years. Yeah, he posted his 10-year anniversary picture yesterday. Fuck me. He had a car at his wedding? That is crazy. Well, here we go. Max pushing on the C6 tires right now. About to go up to the top. Online, your opinion is always wrong in someone's eyes. Yeah. My favorite quote about social media that I've ever seen is, and it's so true. I could tweet out, "I love pancakes," and someone will reply, "Why do you hate waffles?" You know what I mean? I could tweet out, "I love Silverstone," and someone will reply, "Why do you hate Brazil?" And it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, people take one thing and take it as the other thing. That's probably the worst thing about social media as well. What happened to Red Bull this season? I mean, they lost key personnel. The car's just difficult to drive. The other team's caught up. There's so many factors that have gone into why Red Bull aren't as strong anymore. Max went to P2. So only in Sector 3 there is disappointing. Wait, is Yuki pushing right now? Oh, he is. He's got purple Sector 1. Come on, Yuki. P3, only a 10th off. But this is the typical for Yuki, right? When there's no pressure and no window to be in, Yuki's always close to Max. As soon as he needs to be in a window. Wow, and Had just splits them. What the fuck? Yeah, qualifying is going to be insane tomorrow. It's going to be so tight. Even about social media, there are gatekeepers who are too old to use it, who would make similar comments. Yeah. I'm all for a discussion to see if my opinion is stupid, but stuff like that is stupid. Yeah, 100%. I hate when people evaluate the driver based on his past years and don't take into consideration their current form. Yeah, exactly. Like I could sit on a TikTok and be like, "These are my 5 favorite drivers," and people will be like, "What about this driver?" And it's like, it's my favorite driver. I could sit on a video and be like, "These are the best 5 drivers in my opinion of this season," and people would be like, "Why are you rating Lewis that low?" And it's like, it's this season. You know what I mean? And then I could do, "This is my 5 greatest drivers of all time," and people would be like, "Well, why isn't Piastri on this list?" It's like, people are always going to be stupid. People are always going to be stupid, no matter what. Holy fuck! If you want to go read stupidity and people making comments about things they have no knowledge of, go read the comments on my F1 Academy TikTok. I made a video talking about the new F1 Academy Netflix series coming out. And people are just so uncultured. Uninformed and making comments about shit they have no knowledge about. Oh my god. Oh, bit of dust in Piastri's face. Yeah, I mean, it's only practice for McLaren 2 tenths up on P3 and Gasly P3. What the fuck? There's a fine line between rage bait and zero world knowledge. I mean, that Lando Norris TikTok that I was telling you about Oscar Piastri being in a rocket ship, I swear that had to have been rage bait. Where's Williams gonna go? How's Gasly P3? The fuck? Oh, he doesn't improve. You back out? Yeah. I mean, that McLaren's just gonna be favor until it's not, right? Oh, Antonelli cut in the chicane. Yeah, I feel like you can kind of judge when you're coming in too hot, and it's just better to back out than risk it over the curb. People add my opinion in big bold letters, and there's still always some in the comments saying, "Why is Anderson up there?" Wait, did Piastri and Gasly have the exact same times at some point? What's up, Piastri? What's up, FH Games? All Max needs to do is just sim race before the race and he's going to be fine. I was in a rage bait for what Vic said because his citrus comment on Vic was diabolical and a bit too far. Wait, what did you rage bait? Q1 and Q2 going to be a nightmare? Yeah, so much traffic. I'm really excited for qualifying though. It's just like Austria. It's such a small track. So the times are just going to be so condensed. Like, look how tight it is right now in practice. Maris, thank you for the follow. Marishnal, thank you for the follow. You always like the quote, you're as good as the last race. Yeah. Some F1 fans are so fickle sometimes. This year is probably the worst year I think socials have been since 2021 in the sense of people just changing their opinions. I'm trying to think of an example, but like, what's an example I can think of? And again, the thing is though, you're seeing the majority online, but the majority will change. And it's not people that are changing their opinions necessarily. Some people definitely change their opinions, but it's more just like, oh, this group is loud, and now this group's loud, and this group's loud. I mean, like a prime example is everyone's like, oh, I don't want Max to win anymore. Max winning, boring, 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 boring. And now like McLaren's winning, and it's like, oh, McLaren's winning, boring, boring, boring. Or like, oh, here's a prime example of one that pissed me off at the start of the season as a Liam fan is Lewis sucking a Ferrari. Oh, give him time. It's only his first race. Sainz sucking a Williams. Give him time. It's only his first races. Whoa, the club has lost the car there. So Lewis, driver who's been in the sport for almost 20 years. Sainz, who's been in the sport for 10 years. Guys, give them time. They'll be good. Meanwhile, Liam Lawson, Jack Doohan. Oh, they're fucking dog shit. Get them out the sport. And it's like, how are you this fickle? How like the amount of times I'd go on someone's Twitter who was roasting Liam or roasting Jack, specifically Liam, and one of their tweets would be like, Liam sucks. And then another one of their tweets would be like, oh, please give Piastri will iron out his mistakes, or this driver will do that. It's just like, it fucks me off. Is it that hard to have a consistent opinion? I will admit though, it's been good to see people. Well, actually, this is an example of how people probably are fickle. Everyone was roasting Liam. He's shit, blah, blah, blah. And meanwhile, Yuki, I've barely seen any hate for Yuki, which again shows like the only reason people were hating on Liam was because they didn't like him. It had nothing to do with their opinions being consistent. Because now Yuki's underperforming and they're not criticizing it. You know what I mean? And I'm sure the same thing will happen with Colapinto. Like, I'm sure. I mean, to be fair, I think Colapinto is really split on socials. There's the people who are like, oh, he should get the seat because he's good. And then there's the people who are like, he's overrated, he sucks, get him out. So I'm sure like when he does good, the people who like him are going to gas him up. And when he does bad, the people who hate him are going to fucking shit on him. But yo, Alex, stay with the raid, dude. I appreciate it. How was your stream today? Did you go to the F1 movie thing? Or you plan to go to the F1 movie thing at all? But yeah, welcome in. Everyone from Alex's stream. We're currently doing a watch along for FP2. We're just chilling, chatting. We spent the last 20 minutes just complaining about F1 social media. But but yeah, welcome in, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. Sup, Miss Dogan? Bald raid, let's go. Should I shave my head one day, guys? How many channel points to shave my head? Nah, too far for me. 4 hours of traveling each way for 10 minutes of gameplay. Yeah, fair. Yeah, at first I wasn't sure what I was going to do, even though I'm based in London. Like, I was even like, is it worth going, like, all that way? Because we didn't really get much information, but as more information came out, I was like, fuck it. We'll go down, try the game out for a first time, get some social content. And yeah, I think also the Apex car being, the Apex GP car being there will be pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to get a photo in front of it. But Yeah, at first I was a bit like, oh, I'm not really sure like what this is gonna be like. It's the same game. Hey, you don't know. You don't know. But yeah, appreciate the red Alex. Colapinto is wreck master. That's what I mean. Like some people think Colapinto is a wreck master, some or like crashes too much. Whereas I'm kind of like, look, did he crash? Yes, but I think for that Williams, that was expected. One of the crashes he had was in the wet. Again, shouldn't have happened, but it's unlucky. But I think he made up for the crashing with his great performances and matching Albon. So yeah, it's hard. It's. He definitely needs to tidy up the crashing, but I would rather a driver get me points and crash once every 3 races than get no points and just be slow. What's this tire pressure thing from FP1? I'm not too sure, to be honest. Is that in regards to the Leclerc being investigated? Because I'm not too sure. I haven't had a read about it yet. All I know is these C6 tires look really quick, at least at this track. Well, that makes sense at this track because this is the first time I've seen the C6. The pen on Xbox. I need to follow. Yeah, the Claire, the FA document is really short. Right. Yeah, so someone mentioned in the chat, but I haven't had like a proper read yet. Does anyone know if Ocon has the Haas upgrades in free practice? Not too sure either, to be honest. It's so hard. I really wish there was more like... I wish there was like a technical F1 Twitter account that like gave you the info, but like dumbed down. Because there's so much technical stuff that happens in the F1 world, whether it be penalties or upgrades or investigations and this, that, and the other. But it's either complicated and all over the shop, or it's like barely any info about it at all. Wait, this is the doc? Let me have a read. During free practice session 1, it was noticed that LHS and RHS front tire pressures of set 16602 on car 16 was altered after a run, whilst the car was stationary in the garage and before going out for another run using the same set. This adjustment was not carried out in accordance with the procedures set out in blah, blah, blah. I am referring this matter to the stewards. What was the outcome of this then, if this was the one to refer to the stewards? Maybe it's not been investigated yet? But yeah, I assume maybe, if I had to take a guess, maybe they've just not followed the procedure properly and they're going to get a reprimand for not following it. But if they did that during a qualifying or a race session, boom, 100% DSQ'd because they've altered the car. But in practice, it's more probably just like you've not done what you should have done with the proper procedure to let us know what you're doing. What's up, Reap? How's it going, dude? Look whose fans are now hating on Oscar for fist bumping his 81 crew. Wait, watch that? Sup, Awa? I think Colapinto is split because of his inconsistent performance. He's either finding the pace of Albon or finding the ball. Yeah, exactly. Jeez, really do not like Valsecchi. Yeah, this is the thing. I think Valsecchi's great. And I love his passion and like the information he brings. But I think he would be phenomenal on an Italian broadcast. And I never want to like disregard someone because, you know, don't natively speak English. But I think it does get to a point where it's like, if people, it's hard to understand him, or he's not able to like form his sentences properly because of the language he speaks. It can be hard to follow. It can like, I don't know. Sometimes I listen to like, when I watch him on the F1 TV broadcast with like Laura and stuff, I don't think they understand what he says, or like they don't know how to respond to what he says. They kind of like let him ramble, and then like it kind of does bring down the quality of the broadcast a little bit. And again, I love David. It's nothing against him personally. It's more just like, yeah, at some point it's like, okay, well, at what point does it kind of like affect the synergy of the broadcast? Because they just cut to him, let him do his thing, cut back. But he's amazing, and he's so energetic. I love it. The way you say 6 sounds very Kiwi. Oh, there you go. You noticed. Yeah, I grew up in New Zealand for 10 years, so I've got like a hybrid New Zealand Australian accent. Hence why the 6 is a bit more like deep. You're getting worried for Liam? Yeah, me too. Me too. I mean, I love Liam, and you know, I'll hype up Liam when he does well, and I'll defend Liam when he deserves to be defended. But it's he's kind of in the position at the moment where it's like he's having these mistakes or having these problems, and when he's not having these problems, he gets unlucky. So it's like he's not really shown anything, and it's tough, man. I'm just waiting to see how much leeway Colapinto is given, even if he performs just the same as Doohan. Yeah, but at the end of the day, if Doohan and Colapinto perform the exact same, you are keeping Colapinto. He brings more money and more fans. Like, we literally looked at Twitter before. Every tweet he tweets is like 80k likes. Every tweet from Alpine is so much engagement. The amount of money he's bringing to the team. So the thing is, he has to do worse than Doohan for that to even be a conversation, in my opinion. Kind of have to get into complex F1 stuff even if you don't fully understand the physics behind it. Yeah. SPD. SDP dev. Thank you for the follow, dude. I think Franco's an okay driver. Hard to judge on last year. Would be nice to watch how he does this year. Yeah, I agree. Well, he's only got 5 races. So he's got the triple header, Canada, and Austria. He'll probably get Silverstone as well. There's no way they swap him out in between a double header. Free practice is so boring compared to sprint. Yeah, look, as a content creator, I think sprint weekends are way better. There's way more to talk about. There's way more going on. The one practice session makes the sprint qualifying really exciting, and then the sprint, you know, open up the park firm in between. It doesn't feel like we get 2 of the same race anymore. I love sprint weekends from a content standpoint. From a fan standpoint, I'm a bit in between. I'm a bit like, I don't think you should be expected to sit down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours to watch a sport on a weekend. Like, I know some people are going to disagree with me on that and be like, oh, but what about cricket? What about golf? But like, Formula 1 is notorious. Like, you sit down on qualifying, you watch, sit down on Saturday, you watch qualifying for an hour. You sit down on Sunday, you watch the race for 2 hours. Sprints, it's kind of like, it's like a chore to watch as a fan. I'm not saying it's a chore for me. I'm just talking from a casual fan base standpoint. It's like, okay, Friday night we got sprint qualifying. All right, so then Saturday morning we got sprint, and then Saturday night we got qualifying, then race on Sunday. I feel like it can always be like too much, and it becomes like a chore to watch the sport. At least from my experience talking like my dad or talking to friends, it's like they'll skip sessions. And I feel like a sport should never be a chore to watch. It should be like I'm sitting down for 2 hours to watch a sport. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you know, like the reason cricket's good is because you can put on the TV and you can tune in and out. An endurance race, you can put on the TV, you can tune in and out. Formula 1 having 4 sessions split across 3 days, it becomes very like you kind of lose the interest in the weekend. So as a fan, if I wasn't doing content, would I like sprint weekends? Probably not, to be honest, because Friday night I missed sprint qualifying. Okay, watch the sprint in the morning, can't watch qualifying on Saturday night. And it kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't feel disconnected with the weekend. As a creator, I fucking love it, obviously. But as a fan, I'm like, is it a bit too much? But whenever a sprint weekend's on, there's so much more to talk about. There's so much more on Twitter and stuff like that. And it's way more enjoyable to watch. So if you're a diehard F1 fan, I think sprints are great. But I think from a casual fan base standpoint, it's like, do I really want to sit down? I'm not saying this for me. I'm saying from a casual fan, do you really want to sit down and watch 4 sessions on a weekend across 3 days? Like, it can be really hard to keep up with. Anyways, I do agree though. As a fan, a diehard F1 fan who does content, it's like, oh my god, 3 practice sessions? Are you kidding me? But then again, we've had, you know, we're in our 2nd practice session now, and we've still got so much to talk about. The conversations have been flowing, chat's been flowing. It doesn't feel stale, you know what I mean? Compared to like the 2023 season where it was like, yay, let's watch practice to see Max win, you know what I mean? But then again, like, we don't watch practice to watch practice. Practice is just secondary, and we just use practice as a way to just talk about F1 and chat, kind of like a podcast, I guess. Feza, a slap on the wrist, probably. Yeah. Devin is brilliant. Love his energy. Yeah. Apparently, Lewis's father is set to get an F1 role to help young drivers get aid from unethical or harsh managers that end up leaving junior categories or having financial problems. That's interesting. That would be cool. I'm sure his dad would be great at that. What's up, Jock? How's it going, man? I didn't expect Liam to get cooked by Hadja every weekend. Not gonna lie, man. But that's the thing, though. Their qualifying gap is only 1/10. You could argue the qualifying gap shouldn't be 1/10, but it's only 1/10. But it looks bigger because of the DRS problem, the battery problem that Liam had, and just overall getting adjusted back to the V-carb. It's, again, when Liam's not been fucking around himself, as in being slow or had a crash, he's had problems. He's had a DRS problem. He's had a battery problem. But he's not been significantly quicker than Hadja. So, yeah, we'll just have to see how the rest of the season goes. Hope he gets some more luck. Let's practice for 3 hours. F podcast. It's too much. Just don't watch. If it's too much, just don't watch. No, I get that. But also, like, that's the reason why some people can fall out of love with sports, is they miss a couple sessions, and then, you know what I mean? Practice for fantasy and predict analysts. Yeah, true. Practice is like F1 practice is like what you would watch cricket for, or watch endurance races for. It's kind of like you put it up on the TV and you put it on the side where you do other stuff. If he wasn't streaming, I wouldn't know what on earth happened in practice until qualifying starts. I don't watch build up. Anyway, right. So would you say you feel more inclined to watch practice because of my streams, or you'd more like, oh, I'm going to watch Ponden stream, so I may as well put the practice up? If Colapinto gets destroyed by Gasly this year, will you think Albon and Sainz, or even Leclerc, will be seen as more O-rated compared to Gasly and Ocon? Wait, if Colapinto gets destroyed by Gasly this year, will you think Albon and Sainz, or even Leclerc, will be seen as more overrated compared to Gasly and Ocon? Wait, you're saying, would you put Gasly higher than Albon and Sainz, like a better driver? It's the only time for teams to test upgrades, right? And for rookies to get up to speed. Yeah, 100%. But it's this weird fine line, right? Where some drivers say, oh, we need more practice sessions to make our car better, to give rookies a chance. But then some drivers say we only need one, and teams and mechanics say we only need one practice session to get our car up to speed. But then on sprint weekends, you clearly see teams getting their setup wrong, and then they need an extra session. So I feel like some mechanics are just talking out their ass of, oh, we only need one practice session. No, you don't. You can clearly see some teams progressing over 3 sessions. I think the perfect solve, the perfect solution, why did I say perfect solve? The perfect solution is way more testing at the start of the season. That way the rookies get a lot of time in the car, practicing. The teams can bring upgrades, blah, 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 blah. And then the season, the teams don't need to worry about upgrades. They've already got like a really good car that can compete with no problems. None of this, our setup wasn't good this weekend. Oh, well, actually, that will probably still happen, but like, excuse me. Oh, our car's got this problem. We're going to wait 6 weeks for it to be fixed. Like, I feel like, I feel like I get Formula 1 is about the development and the cars, the engineers and the, you know, everything. But I feel like teams should be able to show up to a season with a competent car to begin with. And like, it becomes very like, fuck, let's make sure this car is best as possible. And they almost play on the safer side because they don't want to get their car wrong and then fuck off the first half of the season fixing their car. Whereas if there was like more testing days, they'd try different parts and be like, that doesn't work. Why doesn't this work? Fix their cars. And then would hopefully have 10 really good teams with solid, reliable cars competing. And like, yeah, there'll be upgrades over the course of the season. But like, we wouldn't have teams like Ferrari at the moment who are like, oh, we've got a problem and we're going to wait 8 weekends until we can fix it. You know what I mean? But then you can make the argument, oh, well, if McLaren had 10 days of testing, their car would be even better than it is now. But I feel like everyone's going to hit a cap at some point, you know? I don't know. I think that's my opinion, is to solve it would be like, I wouldn't mind doing one practice session a weekend. Or one 90-minute practice session a weekend, but then just give them more testing, man. Give them more testing. I'm a casual fan, but I've watched all the races in quali since 3 years and usually skip practice sessions. I like sprint weekends, but since I mostly tune into quali, sometimes I find out that this was a sprint weekend and I missed sprint quali in a race. Interesting. So you've missed sessions because you didn't even realize it was a sprint weekend. That's interesting. Yeah, welcome to the stream. SDP Dev. We look at the head-to-head for qualies, yeah. See that WRC do see what see what WRC do. They literally have like 24 to almost 30 sessions, i.e. most of the stages across a span of 4 days. Wow. I think the sprints are good. I just don't think they mean enough for people to really care about them. Yeah, but it's better entertainment for us. It's better than a practice session, right? I don't mind practice sessions. I would prefer they would be longer, only to give the teams better chance about more parts in the car. Yeah. You're my FP1, 2, and 3 radio. I still don't watch practice. When I first got into F1, I was locked into all sessions. Yeah, I think over time you just get more... It becomes less cool, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, you get used to things. Like I'm sure even like Karoon and Martin Rundle and shit, like when they're on off weekends, they don't tune into practice. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like... The practice is there for the teams. It gives fans a chance at the track to watch stuff, and the people who want to just chill and watch something in the background. But it's like, you're not intensely watching practice. You know what I mean? Like, I doubt anyone after the first few practice sessions of the year, like, generally sits down on their couch and actually watches practice. Like, you'd be doing something and watching it on the side, or like, again, you'd be watching a watch along or watching somebody. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Love watching every session, especially the diehard F1 fan. Love sprint weekends. They should def add another preseason testing multiple weeks prior. Yeah, 2026 is going to be 3 practice sessions. 1 not broadcasted, and then 2, 1 at Bahrain, and 1... Where's the other one going to be? I don't know. That I guess I haven't announced it yet. Sprint and sprint qualifying are like an hour. I watched them before the Sunday race if I've missed them. Because Colapinto was very competitive, Albon and Albon was signed. So if Colapinto gets beaten by Gasly, it might show that Gasly is better than Albon. Oh, I see. Yeah, I mean, it's different cars, different times, different periods. Like, it's really hard to make that connection between that many drivers. But I get what you're saying. Do you still have hope that the changes come in Spain will do anything? Yeah, I've got a lot of hope on that. I'm praying that... Again, not because I don't want McLaren to do well. Like, I don't hate McLaren. I don't hate Lando. I don't hate Piastri. But from an F1 fan standpoint, yeah, I fucking hope the teams catch up. I'd say the same thing if Red Bull was in the same position as McLaren right now. Like, I hope the technical directive would change something to even the teams out a bit. And I have hope that it will change, because looking at McLaren's car, it clearly has a big wing problem. And they're just going to abuse it until they can't. It'll be very... Okay, put it this way. If McLaren completely drop off, right? I don't think they're going to drop off to the point where they're fucking finishing 5th or something. Like, the 5th best car. But, like, let's imagine they go from being the dominant car, winning by 2 seconds. Winning races, like, 1 second quicker a lap, and, like, blah, blah, blah. And, like, usually at the top of qualifyings, even though they've been choking qualifyings. If they drop to being, like, Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari level, I'm curious to see what the conversation is about that, of like, why were McLaren allowed to do that for so long? Like, why not bring the directive in earlier? Why not, if they were allowed to do it for so long, then why not just let them do it for the rest of the season? Because, you know what I mean? Like, they found a loophole. Like, you know what I mean? It's just kind of weird if there is a big effect. I don't know if there will be, but yeah. Why is Max Morning, bro? Who even is that? Is that Colapinto? What's Colapinto doing? He's trolling. That's the second person he's blocked today. Oh! Who's that? Don't tell me that's Liam. It's Hadjar. Okay, good. Well, not good, but at least I'm saved from the Liam hate. Okay, I think he's crashed, but he's drivable. Okay, no damage, but he's hit the barrier. Liam bias is crazy. Hey, that's not bias. It's just I don't want to have a. Obviously I'm a Liam fan. I don't have to defend him. Oh, he just beached it. Oh, he's just beached it. He's just beached it. Oh no, he hasn't. Where is he? I think he's beached it. I think he's got the rares that can't spin anymore. Oh no, is he just waiting? Oh, he's just waiting. Oh my god, there's so many cars. You have to go after this, after Borletto. Go now. No, he's just waiting. He's just waiting. All right, now he can go. No, he's beached. He's beached. Yep, he's beached. Fuck. They gave him a chance to unbeach shit and he's fucked it. Well, there's only 6 minutes of practice left. Well, look, not great. I don't know how he's done this. It's not great. Missing out on 6 minutes of timing. 6 minutes of practice. But it's not going to affect him. Maybe a little bit of confidence, but he's not damaged the car. He just misses out on a qualifying run, probably. Unless they've done their qualifying run already. No Crofty this weekend. Harry Benjamin's filling in. Harry Benjamin does like 3 Grand Prix, I think. Imola, Singapore, and something else. Oh, that's really weird. It was a really... Oh! That is actually a big shot. I'm surprised he hasn't... Okay, so he's lost the car really lightly, but instead of saving it, he's ended up in the grass, which must have been slippery, unbalanced his car completely, and I think he was still probably maybe on the throttle a little bit. I don't know. And then yeah, the car's completely gone, and he's slammed the wall, and he's not got a rare suspension damage, which is surprising. That was a pretty heavy shunt. Yeah, the fact this car survived that is crazy. Okay, I really hope we get this off the track and we get some qualifying runs in at the end of the session. Zemi, thank you for the follow. Kind of wanted some extra push laps. Yeah, it would have been nice. I mean, we'll struggle to get some at the end here, I think. Even if he's worse than doing, Alpine gains so much more from the fans since the French have lost interest in the team. It's become worth it anyway. No, 100% agree. Alright, what I missed in chat while I was... while this happened... I think Franco's practicing how you can try defend or attack like in the race, maybe. Me sitting on the couch and just watching. Yeah, but you're watching. You're tuned in to the Watchalong, you know what I mean? Put it this way, I don't think many people, very small handful of people would just sit down on their couch and just watch practice and only practice. Rather than, you know, rather than having their phone up or something on doing something or watch along or whatever it may be, you know what I mean? And that's my point, is like people are going to be more dedicated watching a sprint or a sprint qualifying. I try to watch most free practices, but I end up playing chess. I think Barcelona will shift the pecking order drastically. There's an uproar when the first test wasn't broadcast in 2022. Not a big deal, just wait till Bahrain. Well, that was dumb because that was the first time we're going to see the cars, and we were ending up seeing the cars for the first time through pictures. That was just dumb. I think the first broadcast... The first time the cars are tested on track, it should either be fully broadcasted or not broadcasted at all. No photos, no nothing. Like, nothing should be done. But it was kind of this like, all right, we're going to give you the times and all the cars are going to be on track at the same time. Like, let the cars do their own tests, you know what I mean? But then again, it spoils it. I think the first test should always be broadcasted. You got to get out quick, can't hesitate with the gravel, yeah. Who did what, Pondo? Hadja lost the car and ended up in the wall. But he's okay. He just got beached after hitting the wall. Is this Maxine blocked again by Colapinto? No. What's happening to him? Have you seen the new F1 Clash season, Ponden? I have not. I might play it on stream at some point, but... Wait, what's Max done? Oh, is Max just giving himself a pen? To be fair, that radio could be out of time. Oh, no, it wouldn't be. Okay, yeah, well, Red Bull might get a reprimand for that or a fine for that because he's driven around with stuff in the car. They resumed FP2 2 minutes ago. Meanwhile, F2 qualifying with 6 minutes to go is not resumed. Yeah, but that's because they didn't want F2 to clash with Formula 1. And the Formula 1 practice timer keeps clocking down, whereas F2 didn't. And that's why I think it's stupid. They should have let the F2 timer keep running. If there was a cutoff time for F2, they should have let the timer keep running. And then however much time is left, you send them out with. Rather than being like 6 minutes left, and then they only use 3 minutes of it, and then being like, nope, we're done. Anyways, 1 minute left. Everyone's going to go out, do the practice starts, and maybe a quality run, hopefully. Maybe, hopefully. Square both of the wheels on the barrier. Probably saved as much damage as you could. Yeah, that was good from Hadja, to be fair. Maybe it wasn't intentional, but... Why can't they push them to safety? It's just not allowed, because then it had too much consistencies. Because then sometimes the driver could be pushed to safety. Sometimes they might have more marshals. You know what I mean? Like, if you crash, you crash. You're out. That's it. Salty Lauren! Thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for subbing to the stream for the first time. Did you follow? Yeah, you followed early in the stream. Appreciate that. 3 hours later, you've dropped the sub. Thank you. Thank you. They become in the prime. I haven't watched any practice today. I'm just on my phone. And I've just been listening. Max got a nut in his hand. Bro, they zoomed. Oh, wait, but that. Max a nut in his hand. Let's go. Borderletto yellow flag infringement. F1 takes precedence over everything for the FIA. Yeah, 100%. It was such a difficult track. Yeah, it's very technical. Really great Red Bull. The updates really did nothing. We don't know yet. We don't know yet. But yeah, so far in practice, not looking great. But at the same time, every team brings upgrades. It takes time for them to get those upgrades right. You know what I mean? It's not just going to... You don't just put an upgrade on and you become a rocket ship. Like, you have to find out what setups work with that upgrade. And how to maximize it, you know? It's like, imagine buying a new pair of running shoes. Like, you're not just going to instantly put a new pair of running shoes on and you're going to run quicker and your feet aren't going to hurt. No, you need to get used to them and figure out, like, maybe you need to run with a slightly different technique or something like that. And then you'll be good. So it's the same with a car part. It's just going to take time to kind of figure out what's best. What's up, Ikmal? Why red flag was Isaac Hadja. Hit the wall, saved it, then got beached. Zemi, name of the follow. Alright, well, that's FP2 done. Everyone's now just doing their final laps. Is anyone actually doing a quick run? No, everyone's just doing a lap to get to the grid to do a practice start. Oh! Alright, well, guys, that wraps up practice 2. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, hit the follow button down below. We do watch alongs like this for every single session, for every single Grand Prix. So join me tomorrow for FP3 and qualifying. Qualifying is going to be banging. This track is always so tight, such a short track, so it's going to be a great fight for pole. Could we even see like a Williams or an Alpine or someone else in the fight? But yeah, thank you guys all for watching. Anyways, let's do a rundown of this session first. We got Piastri at the top again, Norris P2 again, 25 milliseconds between them. Gasly P3, which is very interesting. Russell P4, Verstappen P5, Leclerc P6, Hadja who crashed P7, Tsunoda P8, Albon P9, Sainz P10, Hamilton P11. Well, the Fries switching this time around. Bamman P12, Colapinto P13. So Colapinto was, again, 5/10 off of his teammate. Better this time around though, not 7/10, 5/10. Alonso P14, Lawson P15, Bortoleto P16, Stroll P17, Antonelli way down P18, Hulkenberg P19, Ocon P20. Obviously, everyone's on different runs, doing different stuff, and the red flag might have thrown a spanner in the works as well, but that is the order for FP2. For goodness sake, I wanted Landon to be the fastest. Red Bull wanted to follow McLaren, but I didn't think they'd do it that way. All the rigs look awesome, realistic. Oh, to on F1 Clash. Yeah, I'll probably play at some point. What's up, Traveller? Why isn't Crofty on commentary? He doesn't do every Grand Prix because it would be probably unhealthy for him to do that many races, traveling and stuff like that. And he's got family and stuff like that, so he takes Imola off for whatever reason. I wonder what makes him or other commentators pick which races they miss. Is it like the timing? Is it the ones that they don't really like the track or the facilities of? Did you watch Gunter-Steiner's Rank the F1 Driver? I'm going to watch it at some point, yeah. It's weird, but I used to always watch YouTube videos in between stuff, but there's been so much like feeder series, F2, F3, all that stuff. I've barely even watched anything in between sessions this year. I've got so many videos saved up to watch. All right, guys, that wraps up FP2. We're going to end the stream there. Thank you guys all for watching. If you're watching on YouTube or TikTok right now, come over to the Twitch stream. That is the place to be to watch my streams. I am raiding Twitch chat, Pasha, but we are ending the stream there. So yeah, YouTube, TikTok, come over to the Twitch stream. We'll be live again tomorrow on all 3 platforms for practice 3 and qualifying, as well as the F2 sprint race. But that is it for me for today. I'll chill and chat for a little bit longer, but I have an event to go to. I'm going to the O2 for this little F1 25 preview with the new F1 movie. So I'm going to go record some content there. So going to wrap it up there. I'm also fucking starving. But yeah, thank you guys all for watching today. Really do appreciate it. YouTube, I'm going to end the stream there. Thank you guys all for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow for FP3. Goodbye. Goodbye.